Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley. We're going to be talking about the fact that grief is not a life sentence. They help people get back in the game of life in months. They're going to show us how to kickstart our life and get back into the game a lot quicker, which I think is what people here are really looking for. Our guests are Paula Meyer and Denise Dielwart. They are both bereaved widows who collaborate to help other widows get back into the game of life in months, as I said. Denise is collaborating with Paula to bring her online workshops based on her F.L.O.W method into live events. Denise is the creator of the F.L.O.W method, and Paula is the founder of GP Eventworx, an event production company. So they're working together to do this and to bring this to the world.
I was so intrigued when I read about what you're doing. Can we talk a little bit about the F.L.O.W method, Paula?
Well, I'll talk about it because, yeah, absolutely. The F.L.O.W method I developed after my husband, Martin, passed away, because I tried so many methods to heal myself and I went for counseling, I went for therapy, and I found it a really slow talking method that wasn't helping. And I knew instinctively that I had to heal myself, because grief doesn't heal. We have to heal. And until we feel our emotions, and we can't heal what we don't feel. So
I like that. We can't heal what we don't feel. That's a nice tagline right there. Yeah.
So the very first letter of the F.L.O.W method is F, for feel. So that's the very first step, is to feel the emotions, but really feel the emotions. Not just cry and then mask them, but really go down into that deep pit. Because once you feel that emotion, you now know what to let go of.
Ah, good point.
Not letting go of the love. It's not letting go of the memories. It's letting go of the pain and the heartache that's associated to grief and loss. Mm-hmm. Because then you know how to overcome it and what to overcome, so that you can become whole again. So that's the F.L.O.W method. It's an easy 4-step method and process that works really, really quickly.
Now you teach online, so people are going to be able to go online and really get a lot more information about the method. And I wanted to ask Denise, I know you met by going to one of Paula's workshops. I want you to tell us what you got out of it. I mean, what is it that intrigued you so much that you'd want to come in and start sharing this program?
Well, the way that we met, I have been working in the self-development industry or market for a long time, over 20 years or more. And I, was immersed in the thoughts create your reality, you're in control of your destiny mindset for years. But what I was struggling with was, grief after my husband died. I mean, how do I define myself? I just needed to talk to somebody. I needed the support of somebody, not just any grief counselor or therapist or coach, but a grief coach, someone that experienced the loss of their husband. So I just happened to find Denise on a Facebook ad that she posted. Going through her course, probably the one module that had the most impact for me was what she calls the wheel of grief. So you go through and there's a circle and you rate the different areas of your life: spirituality, finance, family, relationships, all that kind of stuff. And you see where what areas your wheel is not round, because, I might be at an 8 most everywhere, but I'm on a 3 in spirituality and a 2 in self-care. And so my wheel doesn't roll properly. And so it helped me to see what area of my life I needed to work
I love that your wheel doesn't roll properly. That's a good analogy of what happens. You get lopsided. I wondered if you had some spiritual things that brought you to this.
Well, what brought me to it was that my husband passed away really suddenly. He was 55, I was 51, and he basically had a blood clot after an operation. So there was no goodbyes, there was no, he was coming home, so there was no, he wasn't expected. And he wasn't sick or anything, so it was gone, bam, that was it. And I just sunk into deep, deep, deep depression. And I had nobody, because at that stage, all my kids had moved out of the house as well. So I had nobody at home or any support. Plus, I'm an only child, so I've got no other siblings around me. So it was just me. And I really went deep into myself. I had a real breakdown one night where I just thought, I cannot do this anymore. I knew that we have to heal ourselves. We have to take action and step forward in ourselves. And that the answers are all within us. And that's how I knew to start, you know, it was like, okay, how do I do this? Well, first of all, I've got to feel.
You said you've done a lot of self-discovery. I wondered what type, and did you think that it helped you, for people who are watching this, did it help you to go on your journey knowing the things that you knew from past?
Yes and no, because some of the things that I knew from the past were not helpful, because we think we know it and we think we can do it on our own. I initially thought that I could do it on my own because I'd been doing this personal development thing, growth books, reading and everything. So that I've got this, I can do it on my own. But what I soon realized is that we come up against ourselves and our beliefs and our conditioning, and that's what keeps us stuck in our grief. Because with grief, our whole life is magnified. You know, everything is like looking at a magnifying glass, because the emotions are everywhere and all over the place.
You know, I'm struck by what you've said about it can kind of speed up the grieving process.
I think for me, yes, it did speed it up. I mean, you know, like Denise, I was on the personal development track for a long time as well. But I just needed that extra push. I needed that support, and I thought I could do it by myself too. You need help from other people, and that's what we're trying to say to women, is that it's okay to ask for help. We still have a lot of life to live, you know.
Right, absolutely.
And we don't want to, neither one of us, I think that was our biggest thing, was that we don't want to live, you know, 20, 30 years in misery and pain. You know, there's more life out there.
It's an 8-week program. It's not about me or my program. I'm the instrument. That's just the vehicle to help them move forward, because it's inner transformation. It's learning to love yourself. It's learning to rediscover who you are. It's basically drawing a line in the sand and saying, okay, that was my life then. I love it. I love my husband or the person that's passed away, but I need to move forward. So it's drawing that line in the sand and say, let's move forward from here. And it starts with self-love and self-rediscovery, because when you lose somebody so significant in your life, you lose yourself, you lose your purpose, and you lose your identity. LivingBeyondGriefAndLoss.com.
LivingBeyondGriefAndLoss.com. Thank you so much for getting up and being on this show. I'm inspired by what you're doing, and congratulations on getting together. We want to thank you for listening to this and watching this show. And Heidi and I always want to remind you, as I'm sure Denise and Paula do, that if you've lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe. I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.